All right. Okay. All right. I can see somebody has done this activity, which is, somebody has created. Hello.
Hi, Ashish. Siddharth, yeah, that would be me.
All right. So, good evening, Siddharth. All right. So, you have
Evening.
designed this Diwali, this tiles, right?
Yes.
All right. That looks good. Okay. And there is a link also. See, this style is fine. Just for testing purpose, it is fine. But there has to be some content also, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right. So, see, when you are publishing something in the organization level, you have to publish some content, that what actually you are trying to do. Though obviously, one can make it out with the picture, but okay. And then another thing you can see, Siddharth, it is opening in the same link. It's opening in the same, that. So
Success factor.
yes, so you can see, it should open in the another link. Otherwise, that's your this whole detail. It's like, it's going to open up your the same link. So, but anyhow, it is absolutely fine, and it's looking good also.
Thank
All
you.
right. Yes. All right, team. So let's go ahead further, and we're going to go ahead further, and we're going to see how we can go ahead and see all these. Detail that we have it here. So last time, we actually started with your BizX methodology, and we said, we're going to discuss this BizX methodology this time. So before we start with your, okay, somebody else has also arrived. Who's this? What is this?
Hemlata.
Okay, all right. All right, so here it is, looks like you have a one more team member joining for today. So here we have a success factor basics methodology that we're going to discuss it today. And before we discuss this team, we have already discussed it. Let's suppose there is a company, you have some existing company, and this company it is, and which company we are doing this? TCS. All right. So there is a TCS company, and this TCS company, they are already on SAP R3 system. All right. And this R3 system, what they are doing it, they are actually using, the module. It's like, like OM, PA, then time, and then payroll. They have it here. Now, Success Factor has launched their SAP has launched their, cloud solution, which is known as with the Success Factor. And Success Factor has various other module, which includes your goal management, then it includes your performance management, then it also includes your employee central, and then you have it your introduction to mastery. Though it is not a module, but it is very important aspect of your success factor. Then you have a compensation and so on, various other module they have it here. Now what will happen, sales team of your success factor, they will approach to TCS and they will tell them, it's like, no, sir, you are our existing customer, and since you're already using your SAP R3 system, we have launched our cloud-based solution, and this cloud-based solution, which you are, you're going to get it here. So these are the module that we have it here. So TCS will say, it's like, okay, they're fine, to see the demo, and in the demo, it's like, because since both are product, they are a part of the same company, so they will obviously know it is, that what TCS has a into advantage and what they have it into the negativity. So what they will do, they will focus on the negativity side of the R3 system. They will say, it's like, sir, an R3 system, it's like, because you're only using these module. So what we have done it, it's like, anybody team who has seen the PMS, which is a performance management solution, which is there into your R3 system, it is very, very tedious work, in terms of the performance management if you're doing it into your R3 system. So what they will say, sir, we have launched it into the goal management and performance management section, and this one, it is very easy to use. and things are very transparent. And so these are the demo and everything, Amna, that you have it here. And let's suppose in this case TCS decides to go ahead with the goal management and performance management. All right. So what they will do, TCS, in existing one, they are already running all these module into the R3 system, because success factor as of now, it is not very happening on payroll. So, to run their payroll, still TCS is using their SAP R3 system. But since it's a part of the same product, in this case, what they will do, they have gone ahead with the goal management and performance management of success factor, because everybody, every organization wants this to be transparent, and they want, that, so that more and more employee and the senior management participation should be there, so that they can make the thing more transparent into the organization. So in this case, since the organization decides to go ahead with this one, so what will happen? Operation team of success factor, operation team or sales, your sales team of the success factor, in this case, what they're going to do, they're going to activate these two module, and they will activate these two module into the provisioning system. They will activate this two module, and along with these two module, they will give you the system which includes your provisioning access, provisioning architecture. Then they will give you the instance architecture. So instance architecture team, it is the same architecture that we have logged in into the system. So it's a same architecture that we have it here. Now, how they will log in into the system? For that, they require a user ID and password, right? So in this case, what they will do, they will create a super admin. And this super admin again has to be created into your provisioning system that we have it here. So these are the three detail. Your this operation team, they will provide this to TCS. Now TCS as a company, they will not know anything about the success factor. So in this case, what they will do, they will approach to the consulting company. Well, TCS is already a consulting company. So consulting company like Wipro, like Infosys. Then you will also have a TCS, which is another consulting company. Then there are so many other company, like like Yesh Technology and various other company. They are there. So they will float their bid into the company. Know that they are looking for this implementation partner, and SAP will also recommend some people. So in this case, what will happen? These consulting company, they will start submitting their proposal to TCS. And once they start supporting their proposal to TCS, and after all these that requirement and everything, when it will see suits to both the partner, the consulting company, and the company who's looking for success factor implementation. In this case, let's suppose they have gone ahead and they have Infosys has backed this project. So when Infosys will back this project, what they will do, they will provide all these three detail that they have got it from the SuccessFactor team, which is a provisioning architecture, which is an instance architecture, and your super admin. They will hand it over to Infosys. Now Infosys will again, after bagging this project, they will start doing all these detail in terms of a planning and everything, when this project is going to start and how many team size will be required. So before they submit all these proposal, all these calculation, it is already mentioned into the proposal what they have it here. So this is basically team which happens, in terms of your, when any company they decides to go ahead with the success factor implementation. And now let's come to your BizX methodology that we have it here. So here we have it your sales team. The first phase that we have it here, which is your sales team that we have it here. And in this team, what the sales team does it, they actually go ahead and, give the demo to client, and client sees the demo, they like it, they place their order, and they provide all these information to the client. They have it here. So this is what all these detail, it is included into your sales phase. So you can also see here, it's like set scope and pricing. So pricing and everything, it's like what will be the team size, And so here, let's suppose your team size, which is also very important. What will be the team size? So in this case, let's suppose if we do the calculation, so here they have it here as a goal management and performance management, and let's assume TCS has a 1000 employee in the company. So obviously they would be having 2.5 lakh employee plus into the TCS. But for let's just assume that TCS has only 1000 employee in the company, and to implement this 1000 they will require one consultant for goal management, one consultant for performance management, and one manager they will require it, project manager. They will require it. So there is a total size of a three people they will require it, and this three people, it's like they will require into this size. Then not necessary, let's suppose this project which is there, it is there into your Delhi location. Not necessary, that there in this case, Infosys will provide only consultant from the Delhi location. They might also provide from a different location, right? So in that case, you will also need to require to provide the accommodation for them, accommodation. And then apart from the accommodation, the company will also have to take care of the food. And not everybody team it's open to have a different kind of a food. Like for example, as a project manager, I myself I have seen when people from a different location they come to Bangalore. See, Bangalore is a one area. It's like where which is always cloudy, and you'll hardly find the sun coming out. So in such cases, when the weather is completely different as compared to rest of the India, so not very much people, they are used to of such kind of. Though some people they enjoy that, but some people also they do not enjoy that. And I have seen myself, that people whom I have sent, they have fallen sick and they don't like, and they come back. So all those things has to be taken care into your this section under their accommodation, and especially your food also. Like for example, if a person is coming from Chennai to let's suppose into the Delhi location, so he would expect that kind of a, see for few days it's like you can provide they can have a different food, but at the when it is for a longer duration, it is always people they prefer the their own local food, whatever they want it here. So that also which has to be taken care of it. So the best it is like if they have the project which is going in Delhi, so they should always look for the consultant who are near around Delhi. So if the consultant is near around Delhi, in that case they don't have to provide the food and they don't have to provide the accommodation in that case. But it's still many times it's like if the project is on the large duration, and if the project is basically where there are more than 1 lakh employee and there are various other module which has to be implemented, then company don't have a choice except to send the person from a different location to different location. Then apart from this team, your team size, accommodation and food, there would be various other detail also which will be required. Like for example, your you have your team size. One of the another thing, it is like whether, see, there was this project which we were doing it, which was in Jaipur. And it was a Jaipur, not the entire Rajasthan electrific, this electricity, which was to be implemented, and it was to be implemented into SAP. So we were doing this project, and this project actually started in month of January, and by the time it's like this project actually started, the summer came. So I joined this project which was from the March onwards. And team, March month, in Jaipur it was extremely hot. So and since it was a government office and there was no AC, so it's like we literally used to feel it's like that. So for that initial 3 month, when the summer it was there, we literally did not work. And by the time it's like that this government office, they book their AC. See, government people, they have their own ways of approving thing, and then that will get approved. Then further person will approve, and then final person will approve, and then the whole this inventory it will come, and then there somebody else will come for the installation. By the time it's like the AC and the other detail it was installed, the rainy season came into. So all those detail has to be taken care into the picture. that your internet is working or not. That is also one of the issue. Then you're sitting, the company has a proper chair and table or not. So all these detail, it's like, as a project manager, when you will come into the project manager, you will have to take care of all these section that you have it here. And before you send your proposal, all these detail, you will have to take care of this. So once you have done your taking care of all these activity, then your another phase which is going to start, which will be your prepare phase. So in your prepare phase, what you're going to do, so in this case, what will happen? The company Infosys has backed this project, and they will start calling their resources into the company location. And so let's assume that this project is for 4 month duration, and this project which is from 4 month duration, and it is going to start from the 1st of June. So since this project is going to start from 1st of June, so Infosys will start calling their, these two consultant and including this one manager to come on 1st of June and start adjusting into your this new client they have it here. So here it's like, you can see the project planning which is coming up here. So in this case, now, project planning has already been done into your previous phase, which is into your sales phase, right? Because before you submit the proposal, all these detail, it is actually required. No, somewhere it is like if you require an accommodation, so that discussion has to happen. And if the client is given the accommodation, then certain price has to be increased, right? So all those those detail has to be included into your pricing. So your project planning, which has to be done into your before you submit the proposal, it's already been taking care of it. Apart from this, your company will also require the orientation. So what you cover in the orientation, you cover in the orientation that what will be your how many month it will be there. Though all these detail you have already submitted that into the proposal, but while submitting your proposal, only the top level people they were involved. This time when you'll be doing the orientation, all the managers and other people will also come into the picture. So same thing again, you will inform to them what will be the team size, and what will be the duration of this project, who's going to be involved into this project. And then apart from this, you will also have what will be the escalation metrics, which is going to be there. So all these section and everything team, you will prepare that into the orientation in the form of a PPT, and then you will take your kickoff meeting. Kickoff meeting, it's nothing, it's just that you are inviting to all the top management and from the client side and including your team member, and you're going to introduce to all the team member who will be the responsible person who's going to take care of all these detail. So not only it's like this kickoff meeting, it will also have your further detail, which will have the single point of contact, which is going to be there from the client side and from the consulting company. Single point of contact. So this will be from the client side also and from the consulting company also. So in this case, which you're going to require. So here you can see team, you have it here as a two people. One person into your goal management and one person into your performance management also. Same way from your client side also, you'll require one person who can give all these approvals and everything, right? And also the authorized person who can pass all these information, proper information into the goal management also, and the concerned person for the performance management also. It should not happen, it's like that information it is given by some finance team, and then you have gone ahead and done the implementation, then the client is coming and saying to you that this information is not correct, it is being taken care by somebody else. So there has to be all these authorized person from the client side also who will provide you all these information. Then apart from this, you will have so then you're going to call all the managers and everything, and then you're going to start with their a whole kickoff meeting, and you're going to introduce from your client side also and the consulting side also. You're going to tell them it's like, who will be the concerned person, who will be responsible for all these things. You'll also tell them it's like, what would be the escalation metrics, which is going to be there. If and the client has to escalate something which where the consultant, they're not listening, and then they can approach to the manager. If manager is also not listening, then whom they should approach. So all these detail which will be your part of your orientation, which you will show to the client. Then apart from your kickoff meeting, they will another thing which is also very important, which is your workbook. So this workbook, it is very similar to your uh, in SAP R3 system, we call this as a blueprint. So this is very similar, but here it is a bit different. Into workbook, it's like everything happens into your Excel sheet. You don't have to prepare all these documentation and everything into your blueprint. I mean, just the way we take all this information. So what in Success Factor they do that, they already provide a sketch and everything. It's just that we have to fill that information. So this is what your workbook and everything which we can fill it here. Let's see some of the documentation team. Which all documentation which we will be requiring to prepare that into the prepare phase and also into the sales phase. So here, if I come into my this section, and if I come into your success factor, so here in your success factor, when I am going to come here into my introduction to mastery, this is my form and template, and these all document also which I has been shared with you people. So here you can see it's like your kickoff presentation which is there. Now this is a rough presentation. It's like what the success factor has shared it with you. Now in this case, you can also go ahead and modify it as per your company requirement. Now if I make it here into your maximize, how this will happen. Okay, so if I come here and make this maximize, you can see all these detail and everything which has started coming up here, right? So here what you'll have to do, you will have to put it your client name, and then you will have to give it any opportunity name or maybe this project name or something. So here you can see all these detail. You can write the date, when you're going to start it here, and another detail, which you have it here. Also put it your as a client logo and everything. The company has already put an SAP logo. In this case, also put it here as a client logo. Now here you can see all these opportunity which is present into this TCS company. So here, the manager is going to tell to the, TCS what, that the customer who's there. Obviously, in this case, customer is going to be the TCS. See, if you want to remove a particular line, you can obviously remove those details, because in this case, it's like, the customer is already TCS, right? We already know. Then what solution and services, as a Infosys is going to provide to the TCS? So all those detail and everything, you're going to list it down. So in this case, the solution they're going to provide it.
Is it a sales presentation? Is it, or
This
is
is
it
the
a
orient.
kickoff?
This is a kickoff presentation. Sales
Okay.
presentations are very different, and sales
Okay.
presentation.
Etc. Right. So it appeared to me as if it's a sales presentation.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
It looks like a sales presentation because if we just approach a client, and why would we write in terms of an opportunity, in terms of our bid and tender, etc. Whatever is happening, is it?
Yeah, so but here you don't have any, another detail, in any of the slide, which is going to come for the bid or tender and anything. So, in this case, you're somewhere it's like, you'll have to write a particular line, but that's a completely different thing because it's a orientation PPT. But a sales PPT are very different. If you have seen the sales PPT, it's like, they will give you the projection about the, see here, what is happening, we are talking about the client. In this case, we're talking about the TCS client. But sales presentation, it always starts with the consulting client presentation. They will show you, it's like, what the Infosys is all about. They will tell you, what the Infosys is all about, what kind of a client they have it, how they will help you in terms of a certain successful implementation, what kind of a market value they have it here. So all those detail, which comes into the sales presentation. And then after giving the client detail, and then they come to the client present, detail. So this is how the sales presentation actually starts. But here you can see we have.
opportunity, like, what would this mean in terms of showing off, like showing the client management and the client team? When we say opportunity, what would it mean here?
See, opportunity, it mean here, it's like, like for example, the solution, the current solution, it's like, the company, they have it here, which is your, goal management and performance management. Opportunity, it can also be, you can just put it into the mind that, this goal management and performance management will work, very good when you use the employee central, or maybe any other module, or maybe in this case, compensation module. So in this case, when you use this employee central, so you can use this also as a ESS and MSS. If not as an opportunity, you have put that detail into the client mind, right? So client will start thinking, once this implementation actually happens, so they will like to also have the further discussion on all these detail that you have mentioned it here, right? See, most of the detail team, it, why all these people, it's like they start going ahead for the implementation one, because other companies are doing it. So if in that case, it's like, when they will see, it's like, other companies, they have also implemented a success factor. So same way also, in this case, they will see, it's like, when they have also gone ahead with the compensation, and they have also gone ahead with the employee central. So in this case also, TCS will say, okay, fine, they will also like to go ahead with. So here you also have the opportunity, right? Not in the direct way, but indirect way, it is always, it's an opportunity for this, detail that you have it here. So say,
Okay. Okay.
right. So then here you have it here as a, CRM, this opportunity which is mentioned here. So if you have any as a CRM opportunity, then what is a due date? And then you also have it here as a estimate license value. So if you want to mention all these detail, you can mention all these detail. If you want to remove any of these detail, you can also go ahead and skip all these section that you wanted here. See team, this is only the sketch, what the success factor it is giving it to you. So if you want to follow this sketch, you can. If you want to remove it, you can go ahead and remove this detail. Like for example, you have it here as a ROR. So in this case, it's like, if you have it here, ROR stands for risk, and opportunity team. So in this case, if you have any risk or opportunity, so you can list down all these detail. What will be the risk and opportunity, which risk, you're going to face it into your, in this case, into the TCS, no, and then what will be the further opportunity, that also which you can mention into your this section. Then let's see what will be into the next, this slide that we have it here. Okay, it's not coming into your this detail. So if I press enter, okay, looks like my system has got hang team. Okay, it's coming by clicking on it. So here you can see it's like, the solution overview which is coming up here. So what all scope, which is there into your goal management and performance management. So here, because the TCS is only going ahead with the goal and performance management, so you'll have to list down all these scope and everything which is there, and what is the solution, which will be there for all these scope that you have mentioned that here. So like this, you can show all these detail and everything to the TCS. Then further you can see it's like, you have a delivery section. So how your delivery it will be done, what will be the length, in this case, if you want to remove the cost of it, you can remove it further here. Then you will also have to mention, it's like, all these further detail and everything. It's like, what your consultant, who are going to come into the, for the implementation, you can also mention. Then it's like, what is their qualification and everything. Like one such example, it's like, what Wipro does it, they always prefer all certified consultant into their company. So in this case, they always boast of, that they are all consultant and everything, they are certified and everything. So like this, you can actually sell to other people. I mean, like in this case, this is one of the selling point what Wipro does it here. So you can mention all these qualification and everything. I mean, what all these, your success factor consultant will have it here. Not only just a qualification, after this project it is done, how they going to support it further. So if the TCS has taken the support opportunity, in this case it's like, you can also tell them how you're going to support them. But if, let's suppose, if you, TCS has not contacted you for support opportunity, so it is an opportunity for Infosys, right? So they can always pitch in for the support after the implementation, that these are the support detail they're going to provide it if the TCS want it here. Then here you can see it's like, which is an overview detail which is coming up here, like certain allocation of those team member which will be there, how certain deadline which is going to be there, like deadline in terms of requirement gathering deadline. Then you will have it here, the configuration deadline. I mean, by this deadline it should get over. Then by this deadline, your testing should get over. And also in the testing, it's like, you should involve the TCS. So all these detail team you should mention into your these detail and everything, so that the client is also clear, and in this case consulting company is also clear. Otherwise, team, what generally happens, it's like, taking the data out from the client. It is one of the most difficult tasks, for any implementation that you will do that here. Then you also have it here as an action log. You have it here as a customer question and answer session. So know that if they have any question or something, it's like, which they have asked you before, you can list out into your PPT, and you can go ahead and answer all those question. As this platform, you can answer all these to their question. Then further here you have it here, all these clarification to their question which is coming from their the previous slide. Then you have it here, any document template which you want to share it with the client. In this case it's like, you can share it the some document template. You have it here as a summation of a content, anything or any attachment or something which is there, some any solution name that they want to do that here, or any briefing pack that they want to go ahead with. So here you can mention all these section in detail. So like this, you can modify all these slides and everything that you have it here. And this, which is your PPT, which you can actually use for this orientation. Then let's see team some of the another detail which is going to be there. So here you can see there is another document that we have it here, which is for your kickoff checklist. So kickoff checklist, it is going to be the same thing here, which we have it here into your kickoff this checklist, that all those detail and everything, it's like, which you have taken care of it. So here you can see it's like your team member, and what is the date, it's like, when this kickoff is going to happen, have you invited to all these people or not. So here you can see it's like, you can this detail when and whom you have sent all these detail. So in this case it's like, and you can mention all these section and detail. If you want to buy your another involve another person into your this section, you can do that here. Then why are they buying, so all these detail and everything team you can actually mention into your this section. So this is a list of your some kickoff checklist, what the success factor provides you here. And yes, not to forget, whenever you do that, you should always go ahead and change the logo and everything that you have it here. Apart from all these kickoff meeting and everything, okay, so you also have your another detail. You can see this is a propose. Okay, now this template is actually used by the sales team. So you can see here it's like, this is a proposal template what they have it here. So before your this your second phase which comes here into this picture, which is a prepare phase, there is all these proposal and everything. Sales team to support present this into the first phase, which is into the sales phase. They have it here. So here they will write all these detail. It's like, what is a document title, they have it here, what is a document type, and all these detail. It's like, time and detail they will have it here. Logo they will mention that here. Any other, it's like, if they want to mention any content or something to whom to address, and here it's like, table of content. So all these detail and everything team, you can see that into your, this is a sales proposal document that you have it here. So here you'll mention all these proposal detail and everything, what will be the cost, what will be including all these section, who's going to take care of all these detail. If the consulting company will take care of all these details, so in that case, they're going to charge it. If the client will take care of all these detail, in that case they will not pay for all these detail, right? So all these section and detail, it will be mentioned into your this detail that they have it here. Here you can see it's like some header and everything they have it here. So again, some response to your some section, what they have it here. What is this response section one? This is a service. Okay, this is a proposed solution. This is software. So if you know what kind of a software which will be required for your success factor, then you have it here as a services, what kind of a services they have it here. Then here you will have, see, it's like, responses into this section. Then here also there's a response section 2 which is coming up here. So Then you have it here as a pricing detail in terms of a software licensing fees. You have it here, and any other, it's like, what will be the implementation cost, what will be the pricing assumption, it's like, what they have it here, or if there is any something, detail that you have it here. What is the RFP that you have it here? RFP stands for team, which is a request for proposal. So if that attachment and everything, which you can do that here. So all these section and detail you can mention into your this detail that we have it here. Let's see some other more document. I have been talking about team as your workbook, right? And I think this workbook is coming twice into the conversation, because somewhere else also, I have mentioned as a workbook, and I told you it's like, that this workbook I will show you into your employee central. But now let's suppose, since we already have this as a proposal workbook, let's see what is all these proposal workbook that we have it here. Module wise team, success factor has provided all these proposal workbook. Like for example, if you're doing your goal management, for goal management they have a completely a different workbook. So if you're doing it for your performance section, for performance section they have a completely a different workbook. So module wise you will find all different workbook, which success factor has provided that to you. Here you can see all these resource allocation. So you can see it's like the major section of all these detail, who's going to take care of it, or in this case, if something happens, who will be the secondary resource for this, what is the status of all these detail that you have it here, whether it has started or not. So like this, you can provide all these allocation resource and everything, and on the weekly basis, you can keep on sharing with the consulting company and also with your client that you have it here. So here you have it your certain schedule detail. So what all schedule which is coming up into the coming days. So like this, it's like with all these schedule. So like for example, team, when we were doing this for this Jaipur project, it was a 2-year long project, and in this case, it's like we used to schedule all these detail. It's like for example, this month it's like this day this discussion will take place. Next day this discussion will take place. So like this, you can mention all these schedule and all these detail that you have it here. Then you have it here as a issue and action. So this is something all in almost in all the project you'll come across, the manager prepares that certain issue and action. What are the certain issue and how they have resolved all these certain action which has been taken care into your all these details. So like this they will have it here as a all these issue and everything which is going to come here. Then you also have it here as a customer and question and answer detail. So here it's like what is a customer question and what is a consulting company what is their response, who has asked this on the date, and what is the status of this, whether it has been closed or not. So these are the okay. Now this workbook, it is only related to your kickoff workbook. So here you can see it's like only this kickoff workbook that you have it here. So there is no data which is mentioned in terms of the module specific workbook that you have it here, right? So it is only your kickoff related workbook that you have it. But anyhow, till the time this project will continue, this whole these detail, it's like manager will keep on preparing all these detail, and they will keep on sharing with the consulting company managers also, and including with the client also. Then apart from this team, rest of all these other detail, it's like which you can go ahead and see all what is this ROR. Let's see what is this. Okay, there is some issue which has come up here. Okay, this is for your ROR question, risk and opportunity questionnaire. It's like what they have it here. So rest all these details, it's like which you can I've already shared all these document with you people. You can always go ahead and read all these document and everything. And if you come across any question, you can always come to me and ask me those questions. Now you can also see team in the sales section, they also have mentioned one of the another this topic which is known as a SAW means scope of work. So all these, what is the scope of work? So here you're going to write it here as a scope of work. So what will be scope of work? So you will write along with the module that they have taken, along with all these detail and everything, you will mention into your SAW process what that they have it here. So any question on these two phases team before I go ahead with the other phases? Any question anybody has it on the sales and the prepare phase? Team, do ask if any question you people have it, because all these detail, it's like as a manager, when you will come into your manager position, you will be required to all these section and detail that you have it here. So anybody has any question on these two detail that we have it? No question. All right. So then the third phase which is going to start, that will be your realize phase. So this is your, so your realize phase is nothing, it's just your configuration phase, team. So here it is like you go ahead and do all your configuration that you have to, those consultant has to do that here. Now don't start your realize phase till the time your workbook has been signed by your client. There are a couple of time, it's like I have come across and I have seen in a project that certain client, they have gone ahead and they have said, that let's not sign into your workbook, and let's just go ahead with the further phases. And in this case, when you have gone ahead with the further phases, and you have gone ahead and you have implemented, and then when you have tested, when it comes to the live, in that case, the client starts saying that they want this, then they want this, then the client starts opening up all these other section. So as a best practice, never start with your realize phase till the time your workbook it is completed and it is signed by your client that you have it. So in this case, TCS should always sign your workbook. Not only the TCS, even the consulting company also should sign on the workbook. Then only they should start with the realization phase that they have it. So here in your realization phase, you're going to do all your configuration. Then all your configuration, all your integration configuration, if it is required. So all these, your configuration and everything, which they will be required to do that here. Then another phase which is going to come here, which will be your verify. And here it is your verify, which is going to start. And in your verify, what you do all, see here it is your all the configuration is going to get over, and in your verify you will do all your testing. So in this case, you're going to do all your testing and everything, and including your integration testing, which is required. So here it is also your integration testing. Now, before you invite your client to do the testing, it is always advisable that first the consulting company should do their testing. And once they are satisfied, that everything it is working and everything is fine, in that case, they can go ahead with the consult. They can invite the client, and they can ask them to go ahead and do the client testing then. So for client testing also, you will have to prepare the testing document, and because at the end of the day you'll always like to see that these are the parameter that they have to check on, and what is there, whether they they have approved or not, or if they have faced any error, then what is the error they have it here. So all these section you're going to include your verify detail that you have it here. And once everything it is you're done here, team, your verification and everything has been approved, in that case, the last phase which is going to come here, which is a launch phase. So in this launch phase, you will have it here. You will see, all these section and everything. Everything is fine, and the client has gone ahead and launched, all these success factor. This project which was into your goal and performance management. And after your launch phase, then it will start your support section. And this support section, it will only come into picture if your client has taken support from you. Otherwise, they can also approach to different consulting company in terms of a support what they have it here. So these are all the phases which you'll have to take care of into your business methodology that we have it here. Same phase, team, you also have it into your very similar thing. It's like 5 phases. You'll also see that into your SAP R3 system for on-premise, but the terminology it is different that there. So there they use methodology which is known as a SAP methodology, which is known as a accelerated SAP methodology. The terminology it is they also have the 5 phase. It is terminology it is a bit different. Otherwise the work it is very much similar to what we are seeing into your business methodology that we have it here. Now let me also open your this documentation which we
Like this change management activities, Where do they happen in success factors, the change management activity?
Okay, see, your change management will obviously will happen after your prepare phase when it has been done. Because this is where it's like the client has actually signed off your workbook and everything, and here it's like when they will and it start doing your testing and everything, then they will say it's like here they want something else, and here they want something like. So that will be the change which you will have it here. So in this case, it's like as a consultant, you or as a manager, whoever is going to be the manager for this project, they will have to take a call, that how much of the change they're going to accept it here. Like for example, see, uh, to some extent it's like the change which is like for example, while doing the requirement gathering, they said they will require the two level of workflow. Right. And while testing, they found, that instead of two-level workflow, it will be better that they can have it here as a three-level workflow. So all these detail, it's like, which is going to be extra work, right? So in this case, your see, whoever is a consultant, they will have to take a call. That all depends upon it's like how is good your relation with the client actually it is. So sometimes it's like when the client is having a good relation, so consultant, they don't inform to the manager, and they go ahead and do that all these everything from their end only. But sometimes when it should not happen, it's like the client is every now and then it's like they coming to you and they're asking you some change to happen into the system, because that will also become irritating for the consultant also, right? And in this case, it just shows it's like the company is does not have a proper vision and everything, because when it was a time when it was for the requirement gathering, they have not given you the proper requirement. So like this, if they are asking you too much of change, in that case you can approach the manager, inform that these are the changes which you have already done it, and these are the further changes your the client is actually asking, so let me know what has to be taken further. So it will be completely call of a manager how he wants to proceed ahead with all these detail that they have it here. So here it's like you will go ahead and do the change management what they have it. Or maybe in this case they can also do the one thing, they can say it's like let's go ahead and let's launch it here. Maybe this is just a minor changes that you have it here. Once we come into the support section, in the support section what you can do, you can go ahead and inform to my team member, and they will go ahead and make the changes that you have it here. So like this, team, you will have to manager will have to play around it. I have also seen a project, there was this project which was happening into Pune, and I have also seen the certain project, that client has gone ahead and they have signed all these project, their all these workbook and everything, and after signing of the workbook and everything, they have requested so much of change, and whenever the manager has said that they're not going to accept any changes, in that case they have changed the manager only. So that I have seen 4 to 5 times that they have changed the manager, and then delivery manager has to come into the picture, and then they have to go ahead and speak to the client. So this is also I have seen. So that's what I'm saying, team. Don't go ahead and start any of the other phases till the time your consulting and your client actually signs on the document that you have it here. Any other question, team? Anybody has it?
Actually, I wanted to discuss this OCM, right? Not like variation request or change request. Like in terms of in BizX methodology, when does change management, like organizational announcements, then you have to train your employees, then you have to look whether the processes have to change, whether the hierarchy has to change according to the organization, those kind of changes. Organizational change management, in which phase do we really trigger it in success factor, or is it completely eliminated by SAP?
No, no. See, change management is not any phase into your, which will be the part of, any of these 5 phases, right? So, change management, since the term itself is saying that something you are changing it about your existing requirement, right? Requirement gathering, which has already happened into your prepare phase, right? So, in this case, maybe you missed out something, and in that case, it's like when your client has gone ahead and doing the testing, and that's where they have realized that they want to change this particular phase. So most likely to be it will start into your verify, and after your verification and everything, when testing has been approved and everything, then only they starts with all the training and everything, your to the end user and everything, those document preparation and everything. So this happens before the launch section. Launch section is only the launch section. It's like, that they have launched the project and they're going to hand the project to support team. So that's the only, or maybe in some cases what they do, client also requests, that whoever has actually implemented the project, they will stay here for 1 more month. After 1 month, after the launch of the project, after 1 month they will hand over the project to the support team and then they will go away. Because in this case, these are the people who have actually done all this implementation, so they would understand the system better, right? So like this also, there is this deal, what this some client, they do that. And then 1 month, these implementation team, they sit here, and then after 1 month they hand over whole thing to support and then they leave from there. So but yes, all these section, it will come into your before your launch phase that you have it here. See, in your realize phase you cannot increase this, because in your realize phase you have it all into your configuration, right? So all your changes related topic is going to come into your before launch phase and after your testing phase. So in between your these two phase, it will have all these discussion and everything for your change that which the client is actually requesting for.
But like in a typical R3 or a large scale implementation, Ashish, what we go through is when once the project kicks off, there's a proper organizational change program which runs along with the implementation, right? Organizational change management. So is there something parallel in success factors to that, or we don't have a OCM kind of a thing? Is it because ultimately all the users, all the super users, all the admins, they have to move to a new platform, right? So there has to be an organizational announcement to tell them, okay, a new change is coming and a new system is coming in, so be ready for it. And then you slowly roll out the program in terms of informing all the stakeholders, getting the users ready to use the system, telling them what all changes have come to the system, telling them what possible functionalities success factor has versus the old platform what they had. If there is a hierarchical change which is required in the organization, there might be a change, which might be required for this, right? How that has to happen, right? All those kind of changes. So don't we need that kind of process in this?
Okay.
In success factors?
Okay, now see, Siddharth, the change which you are asking about it. See, one way it is like, when you are preparing this prepare phase, and that way you have already given this orientation to the client, right? All these detail and everything. It's like, that your company is going ahead with the implementation, and this is a month, which will be required. Who are the people who will be actively involved into that? Who is the manager whom you can approach? Who will be the single point of contact, which will be for the goal management and which will be for performance management? The change management, what you are talking about it, you are talking about it, the post go live change. See, post go live change, it will happen. It's like, that this is the company, in this case the TCS internal policy. It's like, that let's suppose I have it here as an organization structure which includes my as a TCS, then they have it here as a manager, and sales.
Not be post go live, right? Say suppose we go live without training the users, right? They won't be able to use the system.
But see, you need to train all these things into your before your launch phase. Okay, so if you want to include that into your training, you can also include the training section here. Here it is like, you can also include the end user training, and then any other thing, or maybe if, your cutover activity, if it has to happen. So here also you need to include your cutover activity also.
Okay.
Right. So all these detail. So obviously it will happen before your launch phase, right? Launch phase, it is only that you are launching when everything has been done. Right.
Yeah, and so to be done, yeah, and then interim processes need to be defined just in case of all the risk and all those things, right?
See, your risk and everything. See, if there is a risk, in that case, it's like, the consultant will have to inform to the client that, sir, if you go ahead and change certain thing here, in that case, there's a whole lot of detail which will be required to change. So,
Yeah.
And in this case, if they want to go ahead with the change, then probably it's like, instead of the deadline which needs to be extended. So in this case, your manager and the client manager, they needs to take a call on this, right? Because see, with each of your day passing, your company, consulting company, is also paying you your salary, correct? And you're especially paying to an IT person, it's like, there's a huge money which is involved into this. And they also have to see, it's like, whether in this change management, it's like, this change management what the client is actually requesting, are they willing to pay any further amount or not? If they're not willing to pay any further amount, the client will also not go for the losses also, right? So in this case, they will suggest it whether you go for the after support functionality. So after once you are there into the support, then you can go ahead and request all these changes. Whoever is supporting it, they will provide all these detail that they have it here. Depends upon what is the level of complexity, what is the level of change, what they have it into the organization, and then the consulting company will take a call. Right. So all these retail team, Siddharth, which has to be decided and which has to be see certain change requests. The consultant only they do that from their end. Then certain cases, that your manager has to be involved. Certain change management, it's like I have seen where the delivery manager also has to be involved. So it all depends upon what is the complexity and what is the level of change what your client is actually requesting you. Right. So I hope I have answered your question, Siddharth.
Okay, okay, Ash. Yeah, got it. Got it.
Right. Any other question, team? No question. Okay. Now there is more to your this that we have seen your BizX methodology. This whole detail that we have seen today. Now tomorrow we're going to discuss some of this more functionality of your BizX detail that we have it here. And in this case, we're going to see how we can actually go ahead and do all these BizX detail that we have it here into the system. All right. So, team, I think there's somebody else. I think Himlata wanted to speak to me. She has already logged off. So I think that's the end of a session. So probably you all can log off. I think the center wants to speak to me, so I'll speak to the center directly now. If you don't have any question, team, you can log off from the session.